What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. I'm going to be showing two different ReshiZard lists. One was the one I decided to pilot to AC Regionals, and then the other is the list piloted by Peter Kika to top 128 finish at AC Regionals. I ended up dropping after round 7. I didn't do so hot, but I do want to share with y'all my list and kind of show where all of the meta forecasting and things I talked about leading up, like techs and whatnot, what that got me as a list and why I decided to play this list. So, going into AC, I made it very obvious that I did not like the Welder and Friends list. I thought it was a bad idea to take out ReshiZard and play multiple Turtonator. The multiple Turtonator didn't seem good. I did like 2 Baby Blacephalon at some point a week or 2 ago. But I'm glad I only went with 1 because a second would be pretty useless. I did see lists I liked without any. I think the 1 is very good because of the burst damage potential, but I think more than 1 is, now looking at it, not very good. So I'm glad that I went with just the 1. So for the single press attackers, we have the Turt that does Explosive Jet, 50 times the amount of fire energy that you discard from your Pokemon. You have the Blacephalon that does 50 times the amount of fire energy you discard from your hand. The Victini, which for 2 energy, shuffle all of your basic energy into your deck from the discard pile, and then it does 20 damage for each energy shuffled this way. And the Volcanion, which was a later inclusion to the list, because I liked the 1 Volcanion for the mirror matches. If you started second, you can switch into it in Flare Starter, and not put yourself at a disadvantage if your opponent got turn 1 and turn 2 Welder going first. And then you're at a disadvantage going second. With this, you can kind of even that out, especially if they did not get the turn 1 Vulpix and you did. And High Heat Blast isn't bad against Malamar since you're trying to gust up Malamars and hit them. 110 is enough for that. And then for the GX attackers, of course, the Heatran, which is very, very good. The Burning Road can, when this Pokemon comes into your active from the bench, you can move fire energy to it. Also know that that's during your turn. It doesn't count if it's like something got knocked out and you're moving it. Steaming Stomp for 3 energy does 130, and then Hot Burn does 50 damage for every fire energy on Pokemon. ReshiZard, Outrage 30 plus 10 more for each damage on it. Flare Strike 230, and then can attack next turn. Double Blaze 200 for 3, or 300 for 6 energy, and goes through all effects. ReshiZard is really, really good for benching turn 1 and Welder pass, and then like threatening, hey, a Double Blaze for 300 is possible next turn, you better do something about this, or not put anything on your board that you don't want to get hit. So that's, like, without ReshiZard in the list, you can't threaten that, especially against tag team decks. You need that kind of threat. And then the support Pokemon, 2/2 Ninetales for the Gust effect, which makes this deck really good. Dedenne for draw, because you want to aggressively draw through your deck. And for Jirachi, Stellar Wish. So the trainers, there are a couple different things in my list. The Friend Ball is very good, since there was going to be so much fire at this tournament, playing fire Pokemon and the Dennes and Jirachis, and then the Dragon Pokemon Turt. You see the Dragon Pokemon in Blacephalon for the Ganondel GX, and of course in mirror matches. Friend Ball got a lot of value in the tournament, like I thought it would. The 2 Pokegear, my friend Christian Franco convinced me to play these. I didn't like them the first time I tried them out, but they felt good enough of the time that I ended up keeping them after a day of testing with it. At first, I really was like, I don't want these in my deck, but I think it was a good idea to have them in there. 4 Pokecom, because getting the Vulpix is so important. So you have the 4 Pokecom and the Friend Ball to get Vulpix if you're playing against fire Pokemon. And then the Lysander's Lab, the Lysander Labs, is something I don't think any other abilities are played. But my plan was I was going into the tournament trying to do very well and make it into the top 32 or just scrub out. I didn't care about getting in between any points. If I was doing well, I wanted to go all the way. I didn't want a safe deck. And I knew Stealthy Hood was going to be a hot tech in ReshiZard, in Pikarom, in GreenZard, in Guardian. So that's why the Lysander Labs got into here. I did use it versus the one Malamar I played. I use it versus, but I'll get into that. The Malamar was just incredible, and it didn't even matter that I used Lysander Labs, and I also used it versus the one Greens Reshi I played against. I went to 3 switch and 1 board instead of 2 boards or 2 and 2 or 2 and 3, because I knew Absol was also going to be a hot tech in Pika-Rom, maybe in Mewtwo's. It ended up being in a Birds list that I didn't expect. But I knew a skateboard was going to get me less value, and also starting Reshi or Heatran, you want to see the switch instead of the board. So overall, I played 7 of my rounds, and then dropped once I was out of contention for points, since there wasn't enough for top 256 points. My 3 wins were against Mewtwo, ReshiZard, and Blacephalon. My 3 losses were Pika-Rom, play. He did not want to agree to a prize agreement for Game 3 before we started Game 3, because he said he would rather us both tie than one win. And also, the turn where I could have just ended the game with Lysander Labs, I played down the Labs and Dedenne, and I need to hit 2 fire energy off of this Dedenne, or a fire and a crystal. And I just drew 1 fire, so I couldn't also gust up the Zard that had a stealthy hood on it, so I lost that with the Labs there. So I lost that opportunity since I had to play down the Labs before the Dedenne change. And then he just replaced the Labs, of course, next turn. And then we went into a tie because he was just able to sit behind Volcanions and leave that stealthy hooded Zard on the bench safe. The Pika-Roms were really close. I went 1 and 2 versus Pika-Rom. And the I'm sorry, no, I went 0-2 versus Pika-Rom. So basically, the game I went first, I won. The game they went first, they won. And then Game 3 came down to time in one of them, and we had a prize agreement. And then in the other one, I just got bopped. But basically, the Will Jenkins Pika list is from Team Rocket Hideout is very favored versus Reshi, since it's playing 3 Stamp. Stamp is very good versus Reshi, which I was talking about last week, and it seemed like not a lot of lists were playing Stamp up until this weekend. You saw Mewtwo lists play Stamp, Reshi lists play Stamp, Pika's play 3. So I think Stamp is very good. ReshiZard as an archetype did not make it into top 8, and I think it was very well prepared for. The techs weren't obvious, but they are there. The Stealthy Hood and Green Zard, which Green Zard with Stealthy Hood was my second choice for the tournament. The Malamar, which I said I would talk about, so I'll take right now to do so. The Malamar I played against was Hunter Butler, and his list was pretty nuts. He was playing Stealthy Hoods and 1 spell tag. He was playing Adventure Bag. And it was pretty consistent. He got turn 2 triple Malamar and attack both games, I believe. And the hoods and the tags in combination were pretty hard to deal with. And while he was only playing 1 tag, he also played custom catchers, so he was able to just bring up my Ninetales and knock that out. Or just bring up a GX Pokemon and knock that out. So that matchup was really, really hard. He 2-0'd me pretty quickly for that matchup, actually. And so there was really nothing I could do about that, since he was running 1 spell tag and custom catchers. He could just pretty much control when he took knockouts and on what he took the knockouts. But I do think ReshiZard is still a great deck moving forward. This tournament was very prepared for it with these not so obvious techs. I did prepare for some of the techs, but versus the Pika-Roms, it was like, do I draw out of Stamp or do I not draw out of Stamp? Sometime in some of the games I did, in some of the games I didn't. Pika-Rom can really take advantage of you missing Welder, which is why I think Pika-Rom ended up actually doing really, really well at the tournament. And then the other list I wanted to look over real quick is Kika's ReshiZard. He posted this on his Twitter. He played the 1/1 Flareon. So the Eevee, since if you evolve, you can use its ability to evolve it into Flareon GX and then heal the Eevee. It's pretty good versus Malamar, but because you can go boost dash on a Malamar after you gust it, they hit it into Tina, then you just use its ability to heal it and evolve and then swing again. I really don't think if I was playing this combo over, like, let's say the Volcanion and the Lysander Labs, that would have really made a difference against Hunter Butler, because his list was playing catchers and hoods, and I think even with this combo, I would have lost. I'm pretty sure in his tournament report, he showed that he played against one of these, like a list with the 1/1 Flareon, and he still won. Peter also did not play the Baby Blounds, and so he played less Fire Crystals. He played 18 Fire Energy. He played the Hood, whereas I played the Labs to counter the Hoods. I still stand by that decision. Something I do like is he played the Stamps. So I don't think 1 Stamp would have been enough because you aggressively dig through your deck with the Dene with this. But I guess 2, it'll happen to fall into your hand sometimes when you would like it. So the Stamp is pretty good if you are fine with making the other cuts for it. He played 3 Calm and 4 Cherish Ball. I would like to find space for a 4th Calm or a Friend Ball to get the Vulpix down on turn 2 more consistently. And he played 2 ReshiZard, which I'm perfectly fine with, because ReshiZard is actually a very good card, and you shouldn't be taking it out to try to go in with, like, single prize Pokemon that get knocked out immediately, and you have to Welder every single turn. I don't think that strategy is viable at all. It worked at League Cups, but it found little to no success. The all basics, the all single prize version, I don't think it had any success at Atlantic City. So yeah, these are 2 Ability Zard decks. I do like Kika's. His is going for some very different things than mine did, and I think I still stand by most of the decisions I made for my list as well. I don't think I would play the Lysander Labs to a League Cup. I played it to the regionals because if I played against good players or people making the tech decision of Stealthy Hood, making that good decision like I think it was for the tournament, I wanted to be able to capitalize on my read of Stealthy Hood for the meta. But I don't think you need to do that at League Cups unless you think everybody's just going to copy the Stealthy Hood. I think in the coming weeks, the Ability Zard hype, or at least the counter hype, might die down a bit. I think the Pikarom and Mewtwo hype is going to be at an all-time high, so maybe play things to beat that. But I wanted to show my list and also the list of a friend's who I thought his list was really good in some different ways than mine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out flipsidegaming.com and use code Celio for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. And I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.